Democracy. I want to talk about democracy because it's important, and there's a few video clips you can see online about my views on democracy and some of the things that go wrong. But I just want to have a quick talk about democracy because democracy is meant to be about the free will of an informed electorate. And many, many years ago, when Australia first got settled, what would happen is you'd go to your local area, and there'd be people you know personally, and they would get up on a soapbox and tell you what they stood for, and then you would decide whether or not you were going to vote, and then you'd go and vote for the person that you preferred. And that meant that you were electing someone to go and represent you in Parliament. Over the years, that's changed quite considerably because now we have political parties. Now, political parties choose candidates that are going to uphold their particular platform, whatever that may be, their policy directives. So now when you choose if you choose a candidate from maybe the Labor Party or Liberal Party, they're going to be doing the will of their political party, which disenfranchises you, the voter, because not very often they'll even allowed to vote on their own conscience. So if you know the person, they're a good person, and you vote for them, they have to vote along a certain party line. And where that became a real problem was that these are the same political parties that are in Parliament that started writing electoral law. So elections should be free and informed. And if you look at a council election, you'll get a little guide that comes in the letterbox. You decide whether you want to vote. You can see who all the candidates are. You can number any amount of candidates you do or don't like, in preference. So you might, if there's 5, you might only press, go, I want this one or this one, this one, 1 to 3. And then you vote. Now, that to me seems very democratic. And we don't have that sort of democratic process anymore. And one of the big problems that people don't respect when we talk about democracy is the media's part in democracy, because the media are very powerful, and it would be very simple for someone like Rupert Murdoch, who, shall we say, avoids, I think it was $888 million in taxes last year, and you do sometimes wonder why he gets a tax break so huge. Does he do any favours for anybody? Because Rupert Murdoch could destroy anyone that he wanted to. He could destroy Labor Party, Liberal Party, and they could definitely destroy us little independents, as you've seen over the years. So politics has moved so far away from what we could consider genuine democracy. And there's lots of things that go wrong. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but at the beginning of this election, letters went out to everybody asking, with the pre-poll information, and you sent back your application, but your application for a postal ballot went to a political party, and it contained lots of details about you, including secret voting messages and codes. So that sort of interruption of democracy by political parties is not good. What I would like to see, if you vote for me, I'll lobby for a guide to come into your letterbox with sample ballot papers, with the address of the polling booths, and some basic information about the candidate, so that you can sit and make some sort of informed decision. And I think that's very important. There's lots of things that go wrong in democracy. The media play a very strong part, so I would be very cautious about that. You also, rather than meet the candidates and what they feel with the major parties, is you will see the two leaders. And whichever of those leaders you choose today that gets elected on the 2nd of July could be gone on the 15th of July, and you could have somebody else. And so when you vote, you have to use a current system which is not very well defined and definitely not very democratic, and try and use it in the best way you can. So what I'm saying to you is it's very important to take your vote seriously, but it's also very important that we try and reform that. And they have a joint standing committee which meets after elections, and they talk to us, the people, and they come up with things that they think are wrong, and they put that to Parliament, and Parliament doesn't listen. In fact, after this election, they'll sit back and they'll work out what went wrong, if any of us minors get in, if I was voted in, for instance, and they'll find a way of changing things to make sure that people like me can't get in again. Now, that's not democracy, okay? That's self-bloody interest. And what you should be demanding from them is your right not to have to fill in that ballot paper completely, and your right to know who's running, and ask for a guide or a list of who the candidates are and what they stand for, and to make sure that everything's legitimate. So democracy is failing Australians, and it's failing them in a variety of ways. And I won't go on too much longer, but I'll give you a couple of specs. Around 5% of votes won't count. Anywhere up to 10% of votes can be dodgy. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but the winning margins in most seats will be well below the amount of missing ballot papers and or invalid ballot papers by quite a substantial amount. In the South Australian 2010 election, which I contested in the courts, around 16,500 ballot papers alone went missing. Another 6,500 were dodgy. The Labor Party won by about 1,700 votes, and it just gives you an idea that the games that can be played with the democratic process could be stealing your vote or electing people that the majority didn't actually choose. And the electoral roll was deficit by about 80,000 in that one election only. Prior, there was 80,000 more. After, the 80,000 returned. But during that particular election, 80,000 names went missing. And I don't think that one name should go missing. And we had multiple voting that went into the thousands. We had an array of issues with the election process. And now we're seeing discount democracy. We're seeing if you want to make a call to the Australian Electoral Commission to ask questions, you're getting put through to Centrelink. Now, these are people that have had a crash course. I don't think you should be ringing Centrelink. I don't think that anyone should be handling your ballot papers. I think what should be happening, and something that I'll fight for and have fought for 14 years. I've been in the High Court 3 times trying to protect your vote and promote free democratic process that's secure and safe. And what you get is a system that's corrupted. You get to go in, you get handed a pencil, they put it to a cardboard box, and I've seen videos of those cardboard boxes being tampered with. Was that real videos? I don't know. But what I suggest you do is, while the system is as poorly put together as it is, and it's what I call discount democracy, make sure you take a pen with you that can't be rubbed out or erased. Mark your ballot paper very, very clearly, and make sure that you take the time to know who you're voting for, what they stand for, and preference them appropriately. And if you're not happy with the current system, the 2 people that run that system, Labor and Liberal, you could consider putting them not first for a change and sending them a strong message that you want reform. And if you want someone in there that's going to really bat for you, I'm running in Macon, and if that helps. But there are other people that will go into bat for you. So democracy is a very important thing. It's failing in this country, and if I'm not elected, I'll still fight for it, but maybe all you guys out there should start fighting for your democratic right. Thank you.